For many people just like you, part two of the speaking section can be one of the most nerve-wracking because this is where the examiner is going to give you a cue card with a topic on it and is going to ask you to speak about this topic for up to 2 minutes. So it may seem like a daunting task, but I just want to share with you right now how you can do this quite simply and clearly, and you'll discover that you'll have no problem speaking for anywhere between 1 and 2 minutes, which is what this section requires. So let's get started. And the best place to start is once you've been given the cue card and your topic, the examiner will also give you some note paper and a pencil, and you'll be given 1 minute to plan your talk. So let's start there. And this is the most important part, making the best use of this 1 minute to plan your talk. So how do we go about planning to speak about a topic for 2 minutes? The good news is the topic will be something that's very familiar to you because it's going to come directly from your own life and experience. So you will be given a cue card that will look something like this, and this is an actual cue card from a previous IELTS speaking test. Describe something you own which is very important to you. You should say what you use it for, how long you have had it, where you got it from, and explain why it is so important to you. So when, as well as being given the topic that you're asked to speak on, you're actually given four questions to answer in your talk. So this provides you with the beginning of planning your talk and making an outline. So you'll just choose anything that's important to you. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a gift that you received. It could be something that you purchased for yourself or something that you just found along the way in your life, and it's something that you've just held on to and is important to you. So you're going to say what you use it for, how long you've had it, where you got it from, and explain why it's so important to you. So answering these four questions will help you to get started. They must be included in your talk because you've been specifically asked for these things. But as you plan your talk and make your outline, there is a way that you can extend your talk and include some extra details that will be very valuable and help you fill the time and speak quite clearly and effectively as you give your talk. So what I'm going to suggest to you, as well as the cue card and using the questions that you're given, you take your note paper and you simply add 6 more question words to that note paper. And these question words are questions that will provide every type of information and every kind of detail that will be valuable in your talk. Because once if you simply answer these 6 questions, you will have all the details you need and have no problem speaking quite clearly and simply for 2 minutes. Now, some of them are related to the questions that you've already received, but still write these down and they will give you ideas for extra details that you can include in your talk. And you can write these questions in any order, but make sure that you include all 6. And they're the very familiar question words: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So let's see let's just do an example. If I were giving a talk and I had to accomplish this task, how would I fill in my outline for this task? So I want to talk about something that's very important to me, and it's a pocket watch that I received from my grandfather many years ago, and I've held on to it, And when I need inspiration or just want to think of my grandfather and remember all the stories that he told me and helped me through life as I faced difficulties and faced challenges, if I want to remember those things and be inspired by them, I can just take this pocket watch and bring it out of the box of memories that I have and just remind myself of some of the things that were so important that I learned from my grandfather. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to think about that and simply fill in the outline. And I only have to include one word or two words beside each question word that will help me form my thoughts and my outline to give an effective 2-minute talk. So when I think about who, I'm going to think about my grandfather. My grandfather gave it to me. And this also answers the question on the cue card where I got it from. So I'm going to talk about my grandfather who gave me this pocket watch. And that answers the question, what? Okay, I'm describing something that's very important to me, and it's this pocket watch. I'm going to just set the scene or the context of where I received it. I remember going to his house. I remember him asking me to come to visit him, and because he wanted to talk to me, and I went to his house in London, Ontario. So the details will come to me as I speak. I'm just using this as an outline to form my thoughts. When did he gave it to me? Well, the occasion that he gave it to me was on my graduation from high school. So I remember that when I graduated from high school and I was going to go on to bigger and better things, my grandfather thought it was an appropriate time. So when I graduated from high school, he presented me with this pocket watch. And why did he give it to me? Well, I'm also, as well as answering the question why it's very important to me, I'm going to say why he thought it was important to me. And he wanted to remind me to make the best use of my time, that I would have time to accomplish great things. And if I was always aware of managing my time and doing the things, making the best use of my time, that I would be successful in life. And how did he present it to me? He made it very personal. He asked me to come over to visit him and my grandmother, but he took me aside into his study, a room where he could speak to me alone, and he made it very personal and wanted to offer me some advice on this very special occasion. So just by writing down one or two words beside each of these questions, I can quite simply give a 2-minute talk with all the details that will be so important when it comes to sharing about this very special item that I own. I've clearly answered all the questions on the cue card and added some extra details that are very important. And once I finish giving my 2-minute talk, the examiner will just make some comments and ask me a couple of questions as a follow-up to transition out of this part of the speaking test before moving on to part 3. And there is another lesson following about part 3 and how you can share your opinion and give answers effectively to the questions in speaking part 3.